to launch a war when it was still possible to negotiate peace.
Well, the United States has extended its sanctions on Russia, focusing on the financial system and tech exports. The US President Joe Biden said they would impose a severe cost to the Russian economy.
Putin is the aggressor. Putin chose this war, and now he and his country will bear the consequences. Today, I'm authorizing additional strong sanctions and new limitations on what can be exported to Russia. This is going to impose severe cost on the Russian economy, both immediately and over time. We have purposely designed these sanctions to maximize the long-term impact on Russia and to minimize the impact on the United States and our allies.
Well, authorities in Russia broke up widespread protests against the war on Thursday. A humanitarian rights monitoring group said that nearly 1,800 people had been arrested in 54 cities across the country. In Moscow alone, over 900 people were detained. The military action also triggered an outpouring of condemnation on social media in Russia. Well, Margarita Maliakova from the BBC monitoring service in Kiev has been following the crisis in Ukraine, and she gave us this update.
Ukrainian forces downed an enemy jet, and it ended up crashing into a residential house on the left bank of Kiev. And there's a fire right there, right now over there. Casualties are feared. According to the mayor of Kiev, Vitaly Klitschko, 3 people are injured and 1 person is gravely injured. And we're hearing more and more reports of further casualties that are feared. Also, according to the Interior Ministry, Kiev is under fire by ballistic or cruise missiles, and people are advised to hide in bomb shelters. I'm next to one right now, and there are people coming in. Some people slept in the bomb shelter, and I see children there, but other people are still inside this block of flats where I live. Our bomb shelter is just, well, the basement. We use it as the bomb shelter. And yeah, I'm seeing people leave. People go into their car and leave the city, but also some people staying and going downstairs. Well, it's pretty calm out here because we have curfew, so you don't really see a lot of people in the streets. Curfew is from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. So there is this kind of sense of calm, but of course it's very deceptive because people are very scared and hiding or fleeing.
Do stay with us here on BBC News. Still to come, we're going to be taking a look at the mood in Ukraine's capital with our correspondent in Kyiv.
First, the plates slid gently off the restaurant tables. Then suddenly, the tables, the chairs and people crashed sideways and...
Enough to stop the Russian military's advance on Kiev. Bernard Smith, Al Jazeera, Moscow.
We're still ahead here on Al Jazeera. Why people in Georgia are watching Russia's invasion in horror.
Of this invasion by Russia. I mean, Vladimir Putin said it was a special military operation to, secure, Donbass and to, secure the territory of those small little republics that were recognized a couple of days ago. They only occupy and control a small amount of the territory that they claim as theirs. And so, that initially this was set out by the Kremlin, by Vladimir Putin, as being an operation to expand their territory and to push back Ukrainian forces in the Donbass. But because of how this has played out, because of what we've seen, that doesn't seem to be carried through with events on the ground. I mean, the fact that there are strikes taking place in Kiev, the capital, which is hundreds of miles away from eastern Ukraine, and also other cities across the country as well, does raise the possibility that the Russians are going for not just an all-out invasion, but those scenarios that a couple of days ago, like a full occupation, like a decapitation of the government, an installation of a pro-Moscow puppet regime, a couple of days ago, those sort of theories only found listeners in the dark recesses of the internet. Now we're looking at a Russian government that has shown itself to be absolutely militant when it comes to Ukraine. And so as far as I'm concerned, it seems that anything is on the table.
Yeah. Matthew, if you can stick around, I want to bring in CNN military analyst, retired Air Force Colonel Cedric Layden. Colonel, the idea that at 6:30 Eastern time, U.S. lawmakers were being told that Russian mechanized forces had entered Ukraine through Belarus and were 20 miles away from Kyiv. Could those forces have already